everyone, welcome back to Kit Krunch and welcome back to Kit Flip. That is what we're going to do today. We're going to do a Kit Flip. Now in this case, for today's video for Kit Flip, I won't be flipping any papers because I don't have any papers to flip. No, I don't, because in this paper pad of this thankful heart, if I was to flip it, all it is white cardstock. Well, I can't just do that for a page. And then if I flip this bow bunny, that was the inspiration piece, that was my kit starter, it's this. Nope. Not even gonna go there. No, I don't like that. So there's no sense using something you don't like. No. And I'm not someone that I will use something just to use it up. If I don't like it, I don't like it. I have no, I don't have any desire to use it. I'll just purge it. And then the reverse, I just have two little strips of this left. The reverse of that is not something that's appealing either. So I am going to play with this piece of paper. But the kit flip is that we are going to flip the way we do this video, and we're going to get right into a technique rather than how we're going to start. Because when I come back, we're going to do some embossing. That's what we're going to do with some stamps, some embossing powder, and some Versamark, and then a little embossing buddy, and I have a little stamp pad, or you know, like a little, what do we call them, stamp blocks. Yes, and these are the photos. So it's just going to be a variety of photos with pumpkins and apple cider and some trees, just some glorious fall photos, things that you want to remember why we all love fall. And of course I have my stamps here. So I thought what I would do is for a kit flip, we would just play, just do some techniques, and then of course I will do the stamping, and I will show you the VersaFine and then the embossing powder. And then what I'll do is, you know, I'll take it to the other side of my room and use my heat gun. And then I'll come back and then we'll do another flip where I put the layout together. I know some people have been asking to see that. So that's what we'll do. That's what we'll do in this kit flip. So let's get busy, and we're going to protect our surface, of course. Yes. Now, if you want to hack for protecting your surface, go to the Dollar Tree, go to the kids section and get those great big construction paper pads, those great big pads, and you rip one of those out, and then when you're done with it, you could just throw it away. Yes. And so I'm just going to use this because why not? And I have a big stamp block out because that is how you're going to see, that's going to how I corral my stamps so I don't lose any, because I have lost stamps before. Yes, I have lost one stamp before. And then I have a stamp block. I'm not going to use my, this right here, I'm not going to use my stamp press because I just really don't want to use this, because I'm going to use several stamps. And sometimes, what do I want to say? The stamping platform has a purpose, but when you're using a bigger piece of paper, I'm still not totally sold on it. Yeah, that's another topic for another day. And I do want to show real quick, this is how I have my stamping blocks organized in a Totally Tiffany punch bag. And you can get those at Hobby Lobby and use a coupon. That's just a 1-inch punch bag. And so I'm definitely going to use a stamp block, because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with the words, the text. And so of course I don't need a big stamp block, and I want to kind of see what I'm doing. Yeah, so I'm just going to use that. So let's get playing. So of course you could use this embossing buddy. And I'll be frank and tell you that 99% of the time, I don't use an embossing buddy. No, but it just has a little bit of a granule. I don't know if it's baby powder or what, but it's not supposed to have your VersaFine, or not your VersaFine, your embossing powder. I feel scatterbrained today. Sorry, I was talking to my neighbor, and she said she feels the same way. She said, I can't focus on anything today. I think there's something in the air. But a lot of times what I will do is that I will just simply use a paintbrush. I don't worry with this embossing buddy, but I have it, and I've been trying to use what I have in my space. If not, I need to lose. If it's not used, it's going to be lose. That's just the stage I'm in right now. And so then what I would do is, after I do this, I would just brush it, which I'll show it. But I did do the embossing buddy, so we'll see. Okay. So then also with this, if you want to keep it stationary, you could always use a little bit of removable adhesive, put it on the back so things don't shift on you. I may do that. Why not? Because I am going to do some stamping. Again, just removable. And I'm going to stick it right here. And let's see if we can stamp. I don't know how I'm going to stamp on camera, but we're going to give it a go. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just about playing. So this is a Technique Tuesday stamp. And this was in 2009, and these are by Allie Edwards handwriting. So of course, lovely from the get-go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick some of these out. And let's see, we have the word apples, And we have the word, let's see, September. Are we in October? Yeah. Oh, Lord. I'm already going to mess up. There's September, October, November. Where's October? And you see that I cut this down. That was the original set. I cut it down to fit in my Avery L. I know October has to be here. Where am I not seeing it? Oh, there. It's upside down. Okay, so October. Okay, apples, fall. And what else? I have really used this set. We have leaves. So what we're going to do is we are going to not only stamp, but we are going to emboss some text on this Bow Bunny Beautifully Brisk deer paper. And I'm going to use that as my main paper. And excuse my hubby hacking again in the back. Yeah, and I have the word crisp. I don't know if I'll use that, but we'll lay it out here. And so Halloween harvest, oh yes, we got to use the word harvest. We could use the word autumn. I don't know if I'll use all of these, but you could use one. You could just use one and stamp it. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp on those green trees. I think. I even have some acorn. But what I'm going to do is I'm just purely going to do text. I should have, one more. Okay, one more. one more. But I'm just going to do text because I already have leaves and trees and deer. I don't want to get too much, but I could have put an acorn and some other things. I think that's all I have. Boo, no. Spooky, no. But that would come in handy later on. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we are simply going to get our VersaFine out. This is Versamark, and this is what you use. This is a watermark stamp pad, and if you want to hack, oh, let me show you a little hack. Let me see if I can show it. I should have a little piece of scrap. Hang on a minute. Is that you can use your VersaFine with a stamp. Let me see if I could show one and if it would show up. Okay, now this is going to be totally crooked. Okay. So you take your VersaFine and you put it on some craft cardstock. And guess what? Just let it dry. And it looks like a watermark. You don't even have to do an embossing powder or anything else, just with this Versamark on craft paper. That is a fun little hack with this VersaFine. Yes, you don't need to do anything else. Just let that dry, and that's a watermark. I love how that looks on craft. I've done that for years. Okay, so what we're going to do is that I simply could lay these out where I want them and stamp like that. I could do that. Nicole McGorrick always did that. So I could put the word, I think I'll take the word autumn. And I know that I don't want to go below this deer right here because I'm sure in my design, something at the bottom here is going to get covered up. So I have autumn there. How about if we stick fall here? We have the, I got to get apples on there. Apples. We're going to get October. And then crisp. Why not? I might just have the right amount. Let's put harvest right here. And then we have leaves. And I might have to repeat something. So I will put autumn leaves. And we'll put October here. And we'll put harvest here. So what I'm doing is I'm going to put a text on each one of these green. And I'm not going to go below this deer. So, of course, I'm going to have to repeat. Now, I definitely could have put that in that stamping platform, do it all one time, bang, bang, bang. No, I just don't feel like it. No, I don't feel like it. So, this is not going to be perfect. But that's what Nicole always showed. She would put it on her paper. But I can tell you, every time I pick up a stamp block on my paper, no. And I think what I need to do is I probably need to start at the top and work my way down. Ugh. See, now I had them all laid out. Okay, so let me move them. Because you know that anytime you use a block and if there's a stamp nearby, it's going to pick it up. Okay, so let's start with autumn here. And I'm just lining it up. And of course I have some grid marks on here. I'm just lining it up with that. And of course I'm going to be doing this at an angle, so we ought to see if it's going to show up. Okay, so I'm just going to do this Versamark and I'm going to stamp. Again, I'm not going to be perfect. And hopefully by the time I get this done, it won't have dried. The embossing ink will have landed. We'll see. We shall see. We're just going to wing everything. Okay, so I got that one. Let's do crisp. Good enough for poor people. And so I'm trying to not rush it, but at the same time, I want to make sure that I can get, maybe I should only do 4. I'll do 5. And then I'll come back and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, because I don't want this to dry by the time I get my, okay, we're doing apples. And what was the other thing we were going to do? October. So where are we putting October? How about we put October right here? Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so then what we're going to do in a fast manner is we are going to cover that up. We're going to put some embossing powder on this. Let me get a scrap piece of paper. Come on, do I have a scrap piece of paper? No, I don't. Oh, come on, you have to. You got to find a scrap piece of paper. Oh, yeah, I have something here. Okay, so we're going to dump some of this out, and we're going to put it on those 5 words that we did. Look, not even open. Okay, and we're going to sprinkle. And we're going to sprinkle, sprinkle. Oh, there we got some clumps. Clumps. Okay, we did, how many did we do? 5? You know what that looks like? That looks like, oh, what does that look like? I'll tell you what it smells like. It smells like plastic. What does that look like? Oh, dry mustard. Yes, that's what it looks like. Okay. So there are my 5. Okay, so I'm going to take my paintbrush and we are going to move all the clumps and the things that don't belong. And then I'll go to the other side of my room and I will use my heat gun and we're going to dry those, and then we're going to come back and keep on playing in our kit flip because we're going to see how these turn out. Okay, so hang on, I will come back because I don't want to mess these up when I go to do my other ones. If I know they're dry, then I won't mess them up too bad. So sometimes when it comes to heat embossing and stamping, you do have to do it in stages if you want to do, if you want to have a nice finished product. Okay, I think that embossing buddy did, you see how quick or how easily that came off. That embossing buddy might be worth its money. Okay, hold on. Alright, so there is the progress so far. It's pretty good. It doesn't stand out as much as I thought it would, but yet at the same time, it kind of adds to my paper as if it was already in the design. So I really like that. What is the flower? Or what is the color? It is called, oh, mustard. Remember I said it looked like dry mustard? Well, there you go. That's why. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this down. And I will tell you something I did discover. I recently was getting ready to purge. In fact, it is in my purge pile, my old embossing gun, because I opened the package for this new Martha Stewart heat gun that my sister and I got at a Tuesday morning score a couple years ago. And I will tell you what, I don't like it. I do not like it one bit. I think it gets very hot and it has such a small nozzle. Sorry about that. Beautiful interruptions, as we call them. Yes, beautiful interruptions. Okay, so that, I'm going to finish my last couple stamps here. And you can see that this stamping block up here, this big one, is what I clearly use to keep my stamps corralled. That is one way that I will not lose them. Okay, so what I was saying about that Martha Stewart, where am I at here? That Martha Stewart heat gun. No, I don't like it. I think we got them for $4 or $5, and yeah, that's about all it's worth, $4 or $5. I'm going back to the one I got at Hobby Lobby years ago. The nozzle's too small on this Martha Stewart, and it seemed like it made my paper very hot in a concentrated area too quick. So, whew, man, I'm so glad I didn't purge that other one just yet. So, don't purge something until you know for sure you like the one you're going to replace it with. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and we are going to get out this piece of paper here. And we are going to pour some of this embossing powder, this Zing American Crafts mustard. And we're going to pour on these last 5, I think 5 or 6. Now, hopefully I don't get any clumps. Man, that was some serious clumping there. But then this is a new product. You can see I didn't even open it. And so that is all the stamping I'm going to do because I did not want to go past this deer, because I'm sure that on the bottom of my design, I think I might end up doing an L design this time. And I'm just making sure it's covered. And we're going to tap, tap, tap. Yes. Nothing beats a fingernail for the tap. And I always, even though I use an embossing buddy, I still think you need a paintbrush, especially when you're using text or you're stamping with a fine detail. See, that paintbrush will really help get in there. But honestly, I do think it helped. It looks like some of that VersaFine was a little weak there, but it doesn't matter because some of this will be covered up with photos. I'm not going to stress over it. This is about doing a technique that we don't normally always do on our layouts. No. Oh, there went my F. It's okay, no biggie. I don't stress over stuff like that. I used to at one time, not anymore. It's all about recording the story. So I am just cleaning this up a little bit. Tapping it one more time. And then, of course, you know the old saying, you don't heat emboss with your gun near this right here, because that'll just go everywhere. You'll have a mess and you'll cry for 3 weeks. Okay, so I'm going to put that back in the jar, and then I'm going to head over there and I am going to do the heat gun with that Martha Stewart heat gun that I don't like, but I will definitely give it another go. Yeah, it actually, I think it got a little too hot. I think it got a little, I had to catch myself that I thought it wasn't going to burn my finger, but yeah, it got a little hot. Okay, hold on, we'll be back, and then we will start playing with the page itself. All right, I am back with my Bo Bunny paper, with my heat embossing, with that mustard embossing powder. And is it perfect? No, but close enough to perfect. I really like how it turned out. It's just a little subtle something that just adds to the design, but it's not in your face. But I will tell you, sometimes you can just take a black stamp, a black ink pad, and do stamping with text on a background, and it looks beautiful. But I just wanted to do some heat embossing because it was in my kit, and I'm so glad I did, because that Martha Stewart heat gun is out of here. I don't like it. So maybe I will put that in a purge pile for future. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to flip things, and we're going to put a page together. And I don't normally do this because I do suffer from vertigo. Sometimes I have to stand up, and sometimes I get a lot of interruptions, and I don't like to rush this process. This process here of absolutely putting a page together is my favorite part. So I put on another Scrappy Gal, and I just enjoy this process. So that's why I don't show that. And so that's why in my videos, they're called start to finish. I show you how I start them, and I come back with my finished, because the middle process is just gluing and adhering. And I just enjoy that process. I don't really rush it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a piece of paper from this Thankful Heart paper pad. I showed that in the previous Kit Krunch month. And this is the way it's intended in the pad. But I am going to turn it. This is the way I'm going to use it. So my plan is to use this block of Bo Bunny paper that I did this embossing on. And I'm going to use the block with a strip of paper or a banner. And we're going to do an L design, something like that. A little bit of a shelf, L design, whatever you want to call it. And if I ever get my go-to designs done, you'll see that. But don't hold your breath. Yeah, holidays are coming. And I'm telling you what, man, I already feel like I'm behind the 8 ball. I don't know what it is with that. So that looks lined up pretty good. And I will tell you, with wood grain paper, no matter how many times you try it, sometimes it will always look crooked. So just rely on your T-square, and I don't really fuss much over that. Okay, so then I have this scrap of paper that is also my kit starter by the Bo Bunny. That's the B side. This is about a 1 by 11, and then this jadeite that was left over from last week's page, I just gave it a notch, and I'm going to just lay them such a way that I'm going to have a little bit of an angle right here. So that's how I'm going to do it. So let's adhere that and get that done. But I will tell you, I feel a little bit out of my element because doing a process layout, you know, that type of video, that's not that's not me. There's other gals on YouTube that can do this much, much better than I ever could. Because see, I think that looks crooked. Yeah, vertigo just does not set well with me. And I will tell you, in my life, I feel like half my life is crooked. Now, I'm left-handed, so I'm used to some of that. But yeah. Okay, but I do enjoy this process. I don't try to rush it. So I hope this isn't going to be too long, honestly. No. Okay, so ATG. Let's talk about ATG for a minute, because some people will say they get these rolls, and I get mine from Tape Jungle. I don't get the $10 for 2 roll expensive ones. I learned early on, these ones from Tape Jungle, they're just like the generic brand. They work just as fine as name brand. And then also too, if you ever think that your ATG is wound on wrong, no, it's not. The official word from Scotch is, because I called them one day and I said, I got some 12-pack of these and they're wound on wrong. And they're like, no, they're not. You just squish them together. And what happens is that adhesive then gets reversed and transferred to the right side. So they're never wound on wrong. It's just the adhesive is laying on the wrong side. So squish them together, and that is how that adhesive will get on the right side. So that was interesting. Scotch has always been great customer service. And the lady was so kind. She said, but I'm going to send you 12 rolls anyways. And I thought, oh, how sweet. I think people are always so kind to me. And I'm just amazed. I'm like, people are so kind. Well, not always, but you know what I mean. Okay, so you see that I did not line those up. I wanted a little bit of an extra edge there. And so then what am I going to do? My title is simply going to say fall, because that's all this is fall. And then I'm also going to do 5 photos. Now, I want to show you something else. I'm going to use a piece of cardstock. This is by Basil. This is Sunflower, I believe. Sunflower, yes. And so I'm going to use this as my background. Only because I don't have a lot of pattern, and I thought it would bring out that embossed text that I did. So what I do for this is I normally stand, but I can't. So we're gonna wing it here. So I just put adhesive in the middle. That's all I do. And then I line this up. But I don't know. We shall see. I don't know if I can do this. There are some gals that do this so quick, and some days I'm thinking I'm doing this 4 times before I get it straight. Oh, I don't know. What do you think? Not too bad. Well, yeah, we'll wing with that. Yes, we'll wing with that. And so then, of course, I do have 4 photo corners in craft I know I'm going to use. So here are my fall photos. Now, I could have done my photos 2 ways. Okay, I am going to absolutely get, when something's done jabbing me, ow, I'm going to do 5 photos on this one page, because I clearly could have done this. I clearly could have just used one really standout photo and then maybe cut another one down of this tree that I just happen to love. There's the same one. But I really wanted this. But I just can't get it all on there, so you have to pick and choose. So do I want 2 photos, or do I want to tell the story of this apple cider that we use, these Aspen mulling cider spices? Oh, you talk about great. That is a great product. And so I decided that's not what I wanted. So when you're doing a layout, your photos can also dictate what type of layout you do. Do you want to showcase 2 special ones? Do you want to tell a story of something else? Or do you want to do a review and have some smaller photos? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 5 photos. And I'm going to not really cover that up since I did the work. And I just cut these down. None of these are the same size. I just cut them down. These were wallets. This was not a wallet, but it was a panoramic shot. That was from a 35mm camera. Back in the day. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of a grid. And so I'm going to do 5 photos. That is my plan. And I will tell you there are sometimes you have papers on a layout that you can use as a guide. And you can see that some of my words will be covered up. No big deal. I'm going to use that line right there to let these photos rest on that. And this is the plan. And this is how I start a layout. Just plan. Okay, I might move this down a tad, maybe. Oh, but you know what? I want to do some twine. Let's do that. Okay, let's do some twine here. Because I'm going to wrap some twine around the end of this banner. And we shall see how this works, because my twine is a jumbled mess for some reason. I don't know if it kind of got to the bottom of my kit. I don't know what happened there. So I'm simply going to adhere this down, and I'm going to wrap just as a different element. And the reason why I'm doing this is because it has been in my kit and I haven't used it. So I am simply going to just wrap this around. Wrap it around. Now when you wrap twine around, you can absolutely be sporadic about it and let it look homespun, or you can be very particular, and I'll show you what I mean. You can wrap your twine around where you line up each line and you get it spaced really, really great. Just like this. Okay. Okay, and you just use your fingers and you line it up just like that. Okay, tighten it up. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Or you can do what I just previously showed, and it just looks homespun. So I'll do a little bit of both. I'm going to do a little bit of both. I'm just going to tie it here. And I think what I may do a little bit of a bow. We shall see. Sometimes my bows look a little cattywampus. We shall see. And of course, trying to tie a bow, but you could always use your tweezers. I'm too lazy to get mine out. Let's just be honest. When you want to play, you get tired of trying to pick this out. Go get that. Okay. So then when I tie a knot or tie a bow, I make my loops, my rabbit ears. I make them big. And then you pull on each tail. And as you pull, that tightens that knot. That's how you do a little bow. And then you just keep redoing it. Tighten those little rabbit ears. Pull those tails till you get those loops the size you want. Look at that. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, and this is why it's good to put adhesive in the middle in case you want to do treatments at the end. Now let me find a how about a pair of sharp scissors? When you're doing with ribbon and twine, you must have sharp scissors. Must. It's a must. And then I will use a little bit of this Tombow Mono liquid behind that knot, and that will keep that secure. And then also, I'm going to adhere that down. Okay, that is a Jen Gallacher trick back in the day. Yes, twine around a piece of paper. Yes. Okay, so I could go ahead and put the photos. Let's work on that. And let's see, what do we want? We want to do this and this and this. And then also, too, you could create a grid, such as this. I'm doing 5. Now, mind yourself, I could come over here, but I'm letting this pattern paper be an embellishment. You don't always have to do that. But then you could do what I just showed. You could overlap photos too and create a collage. Excuse me. I'm still having issues with my throat. You could do that too. You could overlap. That is a very sporadic way to do photos, but I like that. I never get tired. Oh, I don't get tired with anything with photos, really. No, so let's go ahead and get the photos down, and then I can play with everything else because, of course, photos is the most important thing. So, of course, just using ATG, and I'm going to use this line in this jadeite. I think that's where I want that. I'm just using this line in the jadeite. Oh, I don't want to cover up the word autumn there, so I'll slide it over. And, of course, once I adhere these down, then I get out my T-square. Of course, I could use my T-square now. But I don't. I could, though, couldn't I? Where's it at? I lost it. And so, of course, you can tell that the bow is already going to get in my road. Yes. We are just going to line. And I'm going to keep that middle line flush. Okay, so we're going to adhere that down. Okay. Now let's do these other two. Okay. And of course, if this is not something that you like to see, I could tuck that behind there. Oh, that's cute. Oh, yeah, I like that. Because I want a little bit of room because I'm going to do some embellishments up there. If this is not something you want to see, I know this is not everybody's bag. This is why a lot of gals will fast forward this and do voiceovers because it is a little bit monotonous. But you know me, I'm never a shortage of words. I'll keep you company. Yeah, just keep me running. I'll keep you company. Yeah. But yeah, it's just gluing things down. And of course I'm left-handed, so everything's probably backwards anyway. See how I turn everything, flip everything? My photo just slid. Yes, yes. And when I'm working on a layout, I don't always do... What is going on? When I'm working on a layout, I don't always do it in completion anyways. Okay. Now let's see if we can finally get this adhered down. Holy Moses. Yes, cross the river and call it good. Let's go. Lord. Okay, so I'm lining this up. Yes, that looks pretty good. Okay, and then I am going to get my quick dry out right now. And we are going to adhere that down because that's getting on my last nerve. Yes, love my quick dry for adhering things. And I'll go ahead and do this corner while I'm here. Okay, and then I will show you that I will do all of my photos. I'll do the photo corners for quick dry. I just want to make sure that's lined up. Pretty good. Yeah. There are some days when I have vertigo, I will think things are lined up, and my little one will say, no, that's crooked. That's crooked as day and night, Mom. I'm like, see, don't know. Vertigo is a beast. Okay, so what I'm planning on doing is that I am going to use the word fall, and I want to come down here in the corner. That is my plan. Okay, I'll move this up just a tad so you can see what I'm doing. And I am just using these orange corrugated alphas. And again, this was just something that was in my kit. And when I'm putting down a title, of course, it's only 4 letters, it's no big deal. I will not adhere them completely until I know what I'm going to do for my embellishments. I might have to move that over. I like that already. Again, this is a simple page. And I purposely made this simple so I could show the middle process. And I'm going to put a little bow right there. And you know I'm going to use my super glue for that. And then, of course, we are going to put a sticker here and some wood grain sequins. Okay, so let's go ahead and start adhering those down. Plop, 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 plop. Okay, and I will use super glue for this. I love this Scotch super glue gel. I want a case of that. Okay, so that is my flower. A little lump and bump there. And then also I'm going to put super glue gel on the 2 bow ends in the back. And I don't glue the whole thing down, just enough for it to stay. And I will tell you, if you get that on your fingers, yeah, it doesn't feel too good. It is super glue. But man, I love this stuff. Now, someone said if it's acid free, I don't worry about that. I don't worry about that. And so I'm going to put a sequin there. I'm going to tuck one under there. And I'm going to put one here because I have a sticker that says favorite time of the year. Okay. Now again, I hope my head is not in frame. And then I want you to see how every one of these elements are touching something in this cluster. And then while I'm gluing things, count how many elements I have. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put a little drop there. See if you can count how many items I have in this cluster. And if you can't see it, that's okay. There will be some close-ups at the end. Okay, I'm going to need a little bit more there. These wood grain sequins are a little bigger than normal, but man, it's a wood grain sequin. How could you complain? No, you can't. Okay, and I just squeeze enough that I see, when I see it coming out of the center of the hole in the sequin, looks good for me. And I'm just little tucking those in there. Okay, now I have to get my quick dry. So you can see my visual triangle is started, and it's not nothing grand. This whole layout's nothing grand, but it's going to do the trick because I'm going to get 5 photos on there. It has to do with fall. I got heat embossing on there. Yes, sign me up. Okay. And we're going to do a little plop of super glue right here. And we're going to put this other sequin. See how easy that was? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So how many items did you count? Let me hold this up. Let me put this lid on. I do. I am very good about putting my lids on my glue because I don't want things to dry up. Okay, so count how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The title is 1 element. So 7, that's an odd number. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so we have this here, and now, let's see, to complete the visual triangle, where would we go? Of course, right there. And I don't have anything in here down, but I am going to do this bow bunny paper. And so, of course, I have to work upside down because it has to be in my frame. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. I might as well do that to all my photos. So this is what I do. I take my quick dry and I go to every corner of my photos. And if they were on mats, I would do the mats as well. And I take just a little smidgen, a little drop, a little a little peekaboo, peekaboo that says you're not coming up. No, because I don't like my photos to pop up. So every corner gets a little dollop. Wasn't there a sour cream commercial that says a little dollop of something? Does anybody remember what that was? Okay, so now I'm going to turn it right side, and I'm going to do the bottom of those corners. So I just go in a row. I do all the tops of the photos, then I do all the bottoms of the photos. Okay, just keep on going. And I could add a little bit down here. Okay, that's good, that's good. And so I usually, this is more at the end of my process, but I only have one little more cluster to do, and this page is done. Okay, love how that turns out. And if anything keeps popping, just keep adding glue. That's all you do. Yes, now we have corrugated on top of the sequin. So we'll see how that stays. I think that should be good. Once that dries, I'm telling you, it's super glue. Love it. Okay, so we're good. We are good. We're going to work on this cluster up here. So what we're going to do, and I really wanted this. This is what I really wanted. But you see how the scale was a little off, so I had to back up and regroup. And so I'm going to use this. And I like how that arches those two photos together. Okay, and then I wanted to show you, when you're building a kit, playing with a kit, and buying a kit or anything, if you find something that you want to add to your kit, whether it's something new that came in or something you were gifted or something you found, don't forget to add it to your kit. And within this past week, I added these leaves, these dimensional leaves by Hobby Lobby. They are so pretty, and they are a couple layers thick. So I added that to the kit because I'm going to be playing with one. So I'm going to put the wood veneer here, and I'm going to let it touch those photos. Of course, you can see I'm making my visual triangle. And I have a couple elements. I'm going to put a leaf somewhere, maybe there. That's already got some foam adhesive. And let's see, we have a sequin. We're going to do a wood grain enamel dot and the word Happy Fall Days. So somewhere in that mix is how that's going to land. But that is how simple a cluster can be. And so I think, isn't that sunset so pretty? I love that. Okay, so I'm going to put this here. And when I build my clusters, I start with my biggest piece and I work my way down. And you can see with my title that I did, I'm just taking quick dry to my wood veneer. I use quick dry for all my wood veneer unless it's really, really heavy. Then I would use super glue. With that alpha, the fall, that's what I started with, and I built from that because that was my biggest piece. Okay, so we're going to stick this on here, and that is good to go. We're going to get this leaf on here. I like how that's pointed in that angle. Yeah, I like that. And I think we may put that there, tuck that under there. Well, that's pretty much landed where it's going to. Okay, now I got to turn this upside down because that's how I work. Upside down. Yeah, there was a song for that too. I think Diana Ross sang that. You turn me upside down. Oh, baby, yeah, upside down. Yeah, Miss Diva herself, Diana. Okay, so I'm just using super glue on that wood grain enamel dot because there's no sticky behind it. And then also to that wood grain sequin. Yeah, a dollop of that super glue gel. Okay, that is easy peasy. Okay, so let's see what else needs some adhesive. I think this, no, that did. That did. We got going on here. And when you do use your heat gun, you have to remember your paper will warp a little bit. So let it cool off, and then I'll show you. Let me find a piece of paper. Oh, let me find a piece of paper. Okay, so say this was the paper I used. Okay, and it got a little warped. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your paper and roll it. Okay, and that'll help you with that warping. That's what I have to do when I do that. And believe me, I'm no expert when it comes to that. I just dawdle with that. Okay, so let's get this page right side up. Let's finish it up. And this is, again, a very simple page. But I'm letting this bow bunny deer, beautifully brisk, have a little bit of show time there. And so you can see where my visual triangle is very easy. And I do any journaling? Probably a couple lines. And it'll probably go down here or maybe over there. Won't have much to say. And then, of course, I have craft photo corners. I'm going to put that right there. And I'll show you one more thing I do. Okay, so I'm just putting them in all four corners. It seems like I have used photo corners on my last several layouts, and that's just what happens sometimes, is that you reach for a product and you reach for it and you reach for it. I say do it till you get tired of it. And if you don't ever get tired of it, then you know that's your signature embellishment, that's your signature product, that's your signature style. And for me, it's braids. I never get tired of using braids. Never. And I like photo corners. I don't think photo corners will ever go out of style, because if you look at scrapbooks from years and years and years, like 100 years ago, all they had was a photo and a photo corner. Yeah, it's classic, baby. It's classic. Okay, so that is my very simple page and a little peek into a process. But then, of course, this is a very simple page, so I could show it in a timely manner. So I hope that helped. One more thing. I don't have any braids. If I did, I would flip it over and add washi. And I take my quick dry and then this outside mat, I run a bead of that the whole way around. Okay, I don't have to do the corners because the photo corners took care of that, but I run a bead of glue because, you know, it's got to pass the bend test. I'm telling you, love my quick dry. Yes. Okay. So there we have a finished page, and I hope you enjoyed that. I got 5 photos on one page using that heat embossing. So what did I get to use from my kit? I used my twine, I used my orange, I got those wood grain sequins in. I used a piece of paper out of that fall pad. Where's my tip here? That was not intended to be used this way. But you see how that gold just adds a little bit of something here? It's photo heavy here, but then it's embellishment and color heavy over here. So it balances out. And then, of course, with the visual triangle. Yes. And, of course, you know, if all else fails, just add some photo corners, and that'll tie everything in. Absolutely. And so to make this a quick page, you see what I did? I didn't mat any of those photos. It did. When you don't match your photos, it makes for a quick page. And then also, too, I really don't have a lot of technique other than this heat embossing. The rest of the product did all the work for me. All I simply did was glue it down. So in this cluster here, we had 7 elements. Up here, how many did we have? We had 5. Okay? 5, 7, and this cluster had 1. Yes, you can do a cluster with just one item. And we call it a cluster, but it's just a visual triangle point. Here, here, and here. Absolutely. Okay, and so I will have probably a couple lines of journaling, just say the year and all my favorites, all this pumpkin. And of course, then you can see that there is orange represented in each one of the photos, so that's why I picked an orange alpha. And plus, I didn't play with it. Yes. Okay, so, and then of course, the super glue gel, by the time you look at it the next day, it really dries really hard. Things will not fall off your page. And then, as I showed in the previous segment, when you want a hack for embossing, with that VersaFine, this watermark stamp pad. That is exactly what it looks like on that craft once it's dried. It looks like you stamped. All you did was use this VersaFine stamp pad. And if you keep the lid on this, this stays juicy for some time. It really does. Use a coupon for this, but it's a great product. Okay, so that ends up and wraps up. That ends this video, but it wraps up Kit Krunch for the month of October. So that means come back and we're going to be playing with November. Absolutely. So I hope you enjoyed a little bit of that peek into that process, and come back to RTS because you never know what we're going to do. Bye.